What's going on, y'all? This is your boy Kev coming to you with another video. Wild and crazy game 3 of the Eastern Conference semifinals between Boston and Philly. Series went to Philly. Boston was up 2-0. Now they up 3-0. They win 101 to 98 in OT. This is usually the part of the video where I bring up a big stat or something that I think was the key to the game, and most definitely the key to the game was late game execution. I mean, stat-wise, it was a pretty even game, but I mean, those late stages, man, Boston rose up and Philly crumbled. Philly had so many chances to win the game. It's ridiculous. Just horrible turnovers. I counted 4 really big turnovers for Philly in the in the second half. There were 3 overall by J.J. Redick. It was 2 by J.J. Redick early in the second half when I think they either took the lead or extended the lead or something like that. Ben Simmons missed a big dunk that he was going to bring the Wells Fargo Center off the ground with that dunk if he would have put it down. Philly also did themselves in by taking some pretty bad shots down the stretch as well. I mean, I seen a few that Joel Embiid probably wish he could have had back. And then Ben Simmons missed another bunny at the end. I think that was the end of overtime. It was in overtime. It was a tie game where it could have gave Philly the lead. But when I really look back on this game, it's obvious that, you know, the 2 huge turnovers, the first one in regulation by Redick of, I don't know what was supposed to happen, whether Ben Simmons was supposed to stay there and come back after the ball, but Redick passing it off as I think Simmons was going off a screen by Embiid, or I don't know if Embiid was supposed to give a screen and then come back out to the three-point line to get the ball or something like that, but that was disastrous. Rozier comes up with the steal on the fast break. Remember, mind you, Boston was, the game was tied at that point in the regulation. Yeah, Redick with the bad pass, Rozier with the steal, gets to Brown. Brown gets the layup. They're up by 2 with what I think it was like 1.7 remaining. You thought it might have been over there, but a big-time shot by Marco Bellinelli. Coming off the screen, hits the long 2. People in Philly thought it was a 3. Confetti's going off. They have to delay the game to get the confetti off the floor, and that was just going into overtime. And then in OT, like I said, Simmons misses that bunny, but they start off good with Redick hitting a couple big jumpers, including a 3 that put them up 5. But again, shaky shot attempts, turnovers, and of course the big turnover by Simmons. A great play by Al Horford. I mean, so much talk about the young guys: Tatum, Rozier, Brown. The wily old veteran got the job done in the end. Of course, the last 2 possessions of overtime, Brad Stevens probably the best in the game at drawing up plays out of timeouts. I mean, almost every time his team has come out of a timeout, they've ran like an excellent play that was executed to the T. I forget how many seconds was left. I think it was like 10 seconds left or something like that. Marcus Morris inbounds. He almost had a 5-second violation the last time, and then Stevens was forced to use the last time out. Then he come out again. He almost goes 5 seconds again, but I guess the way the play was run, I think Horford gave Jaylen Brown a screen, and Covington was covering Brown, and then Embiid was covering Horford. Then Horford gives a screen, and then Embiid switches off to Brown, and then Covington was forced to stay with Horford. Now, that wasn't even the bad part to me. The bad part wasn't even the matchup problem. the mismatch. The bad part to me wasn't even the mismatch. The bad part was Covington being in front of Horford with nobody behind him. Of course, remember Embiid is going off to against Jaylen Brown. If you've seen the game, Embiid goes off to cover Jaylen Brown. There's nobody in between Horford and the basket. So all Marcus Morris does is just lob it up to Horford, and Horford catches it, turns around, and goes up and under for the easy layup to put them up. My thing is, I'd rather just have Covington be between the ball and the basket. I'd rather have Covington be behind Horford and have Horford catch the ball and then maybe force him to make a move. But that was just to me that was just too easy for him to lob it up, catch the ball. All he had to do was seal off Covington, catch the ball, gets the layup. I'd rather have Horford catch the ball and then try to make a move with it, because I think Covington would have had at least a better chance there. Then at the end of overtime, the turnover bug bites Philly again. Ben Simmons inbounds the ball. Horford comes up top to get the ball. Sorry, not Horford. Embiid comes up top to get the ball. Horford reads it, comes up, knocks the ball away, gets the game, clinches steal, hits both free throws because they was up one. And then Bellinelli comes down, tries to hit the desperation three to tie the game. It's off. And once again, Celtics win. They have a commanding 3-0 lead in the series. Again, man, just horrible late game execution by the Sixers. Great late game execution by the Celtics. I mean, looking at Boston statistically, I mean, this is probably their worst statistical game as a team, as only one guy had over 20 points. That was Jason Tatum, who had 24, and he also had 5 rebounds and 4 assists. Rozier was the next guy. He had 18 points and 7 rebounds. Jaylen Brown had 16 points, 9 rebounds. Another great game off the bench for him. And then, like I said, Horford with the big basket and the big free throws down the stretch and the big steal. He had 13.6 rebounds. Marcus Morris had 9. Marcus Smart had 9, but he had fouled out in regulation. I thought that was going to really hurt the Celtics down the stretch. But again, with the horrific late game execution by Philly, that just canceled Smart out. For Philly, their supporting cast stepped up. Ilyasova and Bellinelli, Sarge. I mean, those guys had tough game ones and twos. But they always say role players play better at home. Those guys stepped up for the Sixers today. But just like the Celtics, there was only one guy who scored over 20 for the Sixers, and that was Joel Embiid. 22 points, 19 rebounds for him. Good effort rebounding the ball. Redick had 18 points, but again, his stat line is diminished by those 3 turnovers, those 3 big turnovers that he had in the second half. Including that one at the end of regulation. Ben Simmons bounced back from that horrific game too. He scored 16 points, grabbed 8 rebounds, and had 8 assists. But again, that turnover at the end of overtime, that's gonna be what sticks out in a lot of people's minds. Again, Ilyasova and Bellinelli stepped up off the bench for Philly. Ilyasova had 14.7 rebounds. Bellinelli had 12, remember, including the game-tying shot to send the game into overtime. Dario Saric added 11 points, 5 rebounds. But Robert Covington did not have a good game. Covington pulled a Ben Simmons. But he took twice as many shots. Covington finishes with 1 point, 0 of 8 from the field, including 0 of 5 from three-point range. I mean, when you look at the score, 101 to 98, I mean, I obviously it was basically a good defensive game by both teams, because now you got teams scoring 120 in regulation, and for one team to only score above 100 points in an overtime game, that's pretty damn good defense. I picked the Celtics I actually picked the Celtics to win this series in 7 games, because I figured both teams will win all their home games. Obviously, that's not the case now, as again, Boston steals one in Philly, and now they have the Sixers down 3-0. A lot of people pick Philly because, again, they were the hot team. They beat Miami in 5 games. Celtics struggled with Milwaukee. And, you figured with Kyrie being out, of course, Gordon Hayward hadn't played all year except the first 5 minutes against Cleveland. You felt that the young guns were going to get the job done and get to the Eastern Conference Finals. I mean, a lot of people had Philadelphia going to the NBA Finals because of Boston's depleted team, because of the way Cleveland had been playing. I mean, it's crazy. I picked Boston for 2 reasons. I picked Boston because they had more experience in the playoffs and they had a better coach. Both are the reasons why they have a 3-0 lead. They lose Isaiah Thomas. They lose Avery Bradley. Well, they trade him away, I should say. But they gain a lot more. And, remember, they gained Jason Tatum and plus the guys that they had last year in the playoffs with Isaiah Thomas and Jason Tatum. And Avery Bradley. Remember, Jaylen Brown was on that team. Terry Rozier was on that team. Horford was on that team. Marcus Morris was on that team. They had that playoff experience last year. They had that experience of beating a Cleveland Cavalier team without Isaiah Thomas on the road. And I think it was a Game 3 or Game 4. And that was a Cleveland team with LeBron and also with Kyrie. I forgot to mention Marcus Smart with those guys, they had a nucleus of guys that knows how to win. They have a nucleus of guys that know how to win they know how to win big games, and they know how to win on the road in big games. And then again, it goes back to Brad Stevens. Probably the best young coach in the game. The way he's going now, he might be when his career is all said and done, he might be in Greg Popovich, Phil Jackson type territory. Can't say enough about this guy's in-game coaching. I mean, it's up there with the best of them. And he's still a young dude. He's still a young guy. He's got a whole lot of time left. And like I said, that's why I believe that he'll be within Greg Popovich and Phil Jackson territory when he decides to when he decides to call it quits. I mean, Game 4 is Monday night. I'm not gonna call this a sweep. I believe Philly can get Game 4 because they were so close in game. They were so close tonight, but they just made horrific mistakes. I think they can get Game 4, but I don't know. Boston, Game 5, that crowd, that city, that team basically represents Boston as a city. Blue collar, bring your lunch pail to work every day, fight, at any cost, they won't back down, that's all characteristics of this team. This team don't even have the 2 best players on their roster, and they are 1 game away from the Eastern Conference Finals. I called it before the season started when Boston acquired Hayward and Kyrie. I called it. I was like, after this year, Boston is going to be the favorite in the East for at least the next 5 to 7 years. Maybe 5 to 7 is a little bit too much. I say at least 3 to 5. But still, Boston's going to be good for a long time. And I don't even care. I don't even care where LeBron goes next year. If LeBron ends up in Philly next year, playing with Simmons and Embiid, I still would say Boston is the favorite. With a healthy Kyrie and a healthy Gordon Hayward, this team this team is scary good. But that's all I got for this video, man. Let me know what you thought about Game 4 between the Celtics and Game 3 against between the Celtics and Sixers. Let me know if you think the Sixers can get back in the series. Let me know if you think the Sixers can be the first team ever to come back from 3-0 Or let me know if you think Boston going to bring out them broomsticks in Game 4. Thank you guys for watching, and I'm going to see you on the next video.